December, everyone.
That's right.
We're in the home stretch here.
Oh, the advent calendar I have with chocolates in it at home for the holiday season. Day one, everyone. Day one.
It's a good day.
Day,
Enjoy that chocolate.
Yes, I'm so excited about that.
Came to my mind.
I love that. That's an awesome start. I cannot wait for this holiday season going here today. 23 degrees. Our temperature's actually warmed 3 degrees since we've started off this morning. That's because the winds have gone from calm to 5. That little 5-mile-per-hour jaunt, that's actually warming the temperature, but it's calm here in St. Cloud, Brainerd area, right around 11 degrees. So definitely some cooler temps. Hayward at 8. As you're waking up here, western Wisconsin, definitely chilly. Calm conditions. We got high pressure sitting right on top of us, so it is going to be a quiet day today. Temperatures getting into the 30s. I've got us at 35 across the state, 31 in Grand Rapids, 35 to the south. Clouds are going to be thicker in southern Minnesota because there's a system just down to our south. We'll track it. We'll talk about our small snow chances in your full forecast.
Hey, thank you, John. Starting off 6 o'clock and still a good situation across Metro roads. Here's Brooklyn Center this morning. 94 near Brooklyn Boulevard. Not a lot of traffic. It is definitely a Friday morning commute starting off that way. Just not a lot going on, which is good if you're heading out the door. 35W, where it veers off to Highway 10. A little bit more traffic, of course, in that area. It's a busy stretch. But again, I would expect normal drive times at this point all around. Jason.
All right, Jen, thank you very much. Breaking just an hour ago, Senator Amy Klobuchar and other congressional leaders just sent a letter to the FDA demanding they make food safer for children.
Now, this fight comes after 50 children tested positive for high levels of lead. Kaya Edwards is here with brand new information from the newsroom. Hey, Kaya.
Hey, Alicia and Jason. This is the letter Senator Klobuchar and 7 colleagues sent to the FDA's top leader. They want the agency to swiftly address high levels of toxic heavy metals found in a popular product for babies and young kids, which, despite recalls, is still on the shelves in some states. Concerns center around these apple cinnamon fruit puree pouches from company Wana Bana. They're widely available through Dollar Tree, Amazon, and other retailers. Now, back in October, Wana Bana issued a recall after the FDA found the product contained 200 times more lead than allowed. The FDA has also told consumers to avoid the pouches, including those made by brands Schnucks and Weiss. Now, just within the last 24 hours, the FDA released an update saying the cinnamon is likely contained, or is likely what is the contaminated ingredient in it, and that it's working with Ecuadorian authorities to investigate. A Maryland mom who you see here recently found out her 1-year-old had lead poisoning, and when she later learned about the recall, she was floored.
They were a regular part of his diet. All we wanted was the best for our baby, and he's been lead poisoned. It is something that could have been so easily avoidable.
Next half hour, the Minnesota Department of Health explains the dangers of elevated lead levels, especially in kids. Jason? Alicia?
Kaya, thank you. Well, here's another health alert. The CDC says if you have any pre-cut cantaloupe and you don't know where it came from, just throw it out. 14 Minnesotans have been infected with salmonella so far. 2 of them died. There are now over 100 cases across 34 states and 60-plus hospitalizations. The recall includes products from Quick Trip, Aldi, and Trader Joe's.
There's breaking news to report from the Middle East this morning. Gaza is back to an active war zone at this hour. Israel resumed its combat operations against Hamas just hours ago after the ceasefire collapsed. You can see thick smoke there in the sky. In the middle of this morning's airstrikes, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken left for Dubai. Before that, he met separately with the president of the Palestinian Authority and Israeli leaders, hoping to extend the truce to no avail. During the 7-day pause in fighting, officials say 105 hostages were released by Hamas, and Israel released 240 Palestinians held in jails. Turning into some of our top local headlines this morning. This home in South St. Paul is destroyed after a deadly explosion less than 24 hours ago. Right now, investigators are working to figure out exactly what happened here. Here's what we know so far.
I'm Sammy Solina. The investigation continues into what caused this deadly explosion at the South St. Paul home. Multiple agencies responded very quickly to the flames after neighbors heard what sounded like loud booms coming from the property. Crews did find 1 victim dead inside of the home, inside of the garage. They have yet to identify that person.
Right now, a 4-year-old Minneapolis boy is in the hospital in a medically induced coma after falling through the pond ice over the weekend. Now, first responders found the child unresponsive in a pond in Bryn Mawr Meadows Park near his home. According to a GoFundMe, the boy identified as Eli and his 2-year-old brother somehow got out of their house and went across the street onto a non-fenced drainage pond. Eli fell through the ice. He remains on a ventilator in the PICU at HCMC. Doctors are hopeful, but say Eli has a long road to recovery.
A huge cost for Minnesota families is childcare. In fact, we're one of the most expensive states in the nation, with the average cost of care for one infant more than $16,000 a year. That's why 2 DFL lawmakers are now proposing subsidies to childcare providers. That way, more families who don't already qualify for low-income aid can better afford the service.
So how do we just make it a little bit easier for our families to afford childcare in those middle income ranges so that they can stay in the workforce, so our communities stay vibrant, and our employers can have the employees that they need?
Now, lawmakers did not have specific numbers on what it would cost or where the money would come from. Now, here's a closer look at childcare costs here in Minnesota. This data comes from a state-by-state report by the United Way of the National Capital Area. Daycare for one child can cost up to 21% of a median family's income. If there are 2 children, that figure jumps up to more than 37%. But federal recommendations say families shouldn't spend more than 7% of their income on childcare.
Today, we expect to learn who will lead one of our state's largest school districts. The Minneapolis School Board is set to announce the district's next superintendent. This week, the board interviewed the top 2 candidates, Dr. Lisa Sales Adams, the superintendent of Eastern Carver County Schools, and Dr. Sonia Stewart from Tennessee. Among the questions the board asked, how they plan to boost the scores of Black and brown students.
Being a data-driven leader would be important to progress monitor along the way, and that will allow us to see, are students benefiting from the instruction, or do we need to go back, reteach, differentiate, or is it an opportunity to engage and accelerate our learning?
Where you have gaps and where you have kids that are further behind, that continuous improvement model has to move faster. That plan, do, check, act. You've got to be able to check in with the systems, the process, the plan that you have more often to move the needle.
The new superintendent will take over for Rochelle Cox, who's been leading the district in the interim since Superintendent Ed Graff left the role last year.